Good morning, everybody. This is Jonathan James with Hope Charities. Thank you so much for joining us. I don't know if this is your first time hanging out with us or if you've been with us all weekend, but Thursday and Friday, we had a long list of educational symposiums that really were an awesome time together. We had so much fun. There's so many neat things to be able to hang out with the kids and learn how to do balloons and learn how to cook and all kinds of fun things, which was a great time. And we're so excited. Look, we have a bonus session for you this morning that we were so excited to be able to bring to you. And so we wanted to jump in this morning and do some fun things with you as it regards to a kids discussion panel. You know, one of the things about Family Education Weekend for me is it's really about the whole family, right? It's really about how does a bleeding disorder really affect you as the parent, the child, the grandparent, the whole support system is got to be involved in the process, or else you won't be as successful as you could be. And so I invited my oldest daughter, Hannah James, to be able to come and do a discussion group with some of her friends in the hemophilia community, some other kids who are living with a bleeding disorder that maybe have a perspective that really would be enlightening to see. And so I listened to some of the pre-interview questions, and you're not going to believe this. It's going to be a great time. So look, hang out with me a little bit this morning. Let's get on here and jump in with Hannah and her crew and see really more about what it's like living with a bleeding disorder from a kid's perspective. And I really appreciate you joining this morning to hang out with us.
Hi, we're CVS Specialty, and you've come to the right place for specialty medication and one-on-one support. We want to help make living with your specialty condition a little easier. Let's start with getting your medication. Most specialty pharmacies only offer delivery, but with us, you have options. We can provide convenient, contactless home delivery of your medication. But if you prefer to pick it up, we can have it available for you at any CVS pharmacy location. The choice is yours. We also know that taking a specialty medication, particularly if you're new to treatment, can come with questions. So we make sure you have access to a nurse and pharmacist specially trained in conditions like yours. Together, they're known as your CVS Specialty Care Team, and you can rely on them for trusted information. Send your care team a secure message on our website or mobile app. They can help with questions about your medication order status, billing, or even side effects. For even more convenience, use our digital tools to manage your medication. You can refill prescriptions, monitor order status, make payments, and much more anytime online. These are just some of the ways we can help you manage your specialty condition. We're CVS Specialty, and we'll be here when you need us, because you are our specialty.
You've got to be able to live your life to the fullest. You can't just let hemophilia hold you behind. I can't say I've ever been a traditional hemophiliac. I rock climb, whitewater kayak. I go out in the wilderness and hike around. My name is Nicholas, and I am a severe hemophiliac A. I was diagnosed at birth, so basically within the first 2 days of my life I was diagnosed. I think I came fully to terms with it around age 7 when I had non-Hodgkin's Burkitt's lymphoma. My HTC doctor at the time, she also had cancer, and so I got to spend a lot of time with her, both talking about my cancer and my hemophilia, so I was able to kind of come to terms with that. What I would say to someone who has hemophilia is don't let hemophilia hold you back. You can manage the disease with your medication. You don't need to worry so much about it. I mean, I've broken my forearm, I've broken my nose, twisted ankles doing the activities I do, but I haven't had any spontaneous bleeds, which is great. So I've gone from 72 spontaneous bleeds in a year to 0 spontaneous bleeds in a year. If you're having a bad day, there's nothing better than going out and fishing or going hiking. It doesn't make it difficult doing infusions outdoors. I've infused on a kayak in the middle of an ocean to infusing on the side of a rock climbing face on El Capitan, hanging from ropes. So it doesn't make it difficult any more than sitting at the kitchen table for myself. you got to try new things. If you don't try new things, you're not able to, move on and move past what you think you can't do, but you really can. I don't need to let hemophilia keep me down. I can kind of tell hemophilia, hey, I want to go out hiking today. I want to go fishing. I want to go climb a 10,000 foot mountain. I want to go with my buddies off-roading or skiing or snowboarding or surfing, and I'm able to do it. Not letting boundaries be set by someone else, but by my own self safely. That's pretty much where I like to live my life.
For 70 years, we've been on quite a journey together, with exciting twists and turns. Today, it may feel like the way is blocked. You may feel isolated and alone. But even on the darkest road, we know who to turn to. Each other. Your journey is our journey. We're always moving forward with your long-term health in mind. And we'll continue to support you along this new path. Every mile of the journey.
At Bayer, we create medicine that treats bleeding disorders like hemophilia, so Victor can keep doing what's in his blood. At Bayer, this is why we science.
Good afternoon, everybody. We are super excited to be talking to all of you guys today, and I'm really glad that we can do this afternoon, and I'm really glad that we have this kind of connection, because I know with COVID and everything going on right now, it's been really weird not being able to see people, and I'm so glad that we have this kind of opportunity to still connect with everybody. I don't know if you guys have felt the same way I have with social distancing, but it has definitely not been easy. I don't know how you guys feel about that, but I definitely am a people person, so not being able to see everybody has been a little bit tough. How about you guys?
I feel the same way with having to stay distant. I remember at the beginning of the school year, they kept telling us 6 feet, trying to scoot us away, but we're all gravitating to each other because it was the first time we actually met people in 6 months. So it's been kind of hard, but I think I've adjusted to it a little bit.
Yeah.
I've actually gone overboard with the social distancing. I completely stay away from people that are not my family. Like, cherry blossoms. Yesterday we went to this place. It's called a Japan garden. And cherry blossoms only bloom once a year, and when it rains they wash out. So the day before that it rained, and today it was gonna rain, so today was the one time in the year where there could be cherry blossoms, and there was a whole lot of people there, and I was really trying to stay away, and my parents wanted pictures with my mask off, and even though a lot of people had their masks off, I don't know, I just went overboard. I really didn't want to do anything. I just wanted to stay away from everyone.
Yeah. That's definitely, staying safe is really important, which is another reason why I'm glad that we have Zoom and these opportunities, because that way we can stay safe but still stay connected. So I think I'm just going to start getting right into questions. I'm just going to go one person at a time, and we'll just see how the conversation leads us. So Aiden, let's just start with you. How old are you?
Well, about to be 19, so 18.
Fancy. We all like being older. I'm sure plenty of the kids in this group chat wish that they were that age, as sometimes it's not fun being younger than 18. Hayden, how old are you?
I'm 12.
Nice. Tavin?
I am 14, about to be 15.
And Muhammad?
I'm the same as Hayden. I'm also 12.
Awesome. And going back down the same order, Aiden, where are you from?
So I am from Zachary, Louisiana, so that's just north of Baton Rouge, and I'm currently in Shreveport studying at Centenary College, Louisiana.
That's amazing. And I know you mentioned before when we talked a couple days ago that you kind of have lived all over, right? What's your favorite place that you've lived?
My favorite place is honestly Louisiana because the people, not so much the weather because it can be bright and sunny and 80 plus on one day and then 40 and like just freezing rain, you know? So, but definitely Louisiana.
It's my favorite too. I'm here for the crawfish. I don't know about you guys, but I'm here for the crawfish. Hayden, where are you from?
I am from Denton Springs, Louisiana.
And have you always lived there?
Yes, ma'am.
Do you like it?
Yes, ma'am.
Are you here for the crawfish like I am? Because I feel like among people in Louisiana, that's the thing that connects all of us is really just the crawfish. Tavin, where are you from?
I am from Baton Rouge, Louisiana, in a little town called Central.
Nice. Have you ever lived anywhere else, or have you always been in Central?
I've always been in Central my whole life.
Do you like it?
I actually love it. I wish there was something new every now and again, except for pizza places. But I mean, I love it here.
That's awesome. Do you ever wish that you lived anywhere else, or you just gonna stay in Central for the rest of your life?
I do kind of wish I lived places where there were more people and more like things to do and like places to interact at. But I kind of like my little town.
That's awesome. We always love to have a place called home. And Muhammad, where are you from?
Well, I'm out of Louisiana. I live in Urbana, Illinois. It's like an hour and a half south from Chicago. Yeah.
That's awesome. Have you always lived there, or have you ever lived anywhere else?
I've lived there for 10 years of my life. I've been raised here for the vast majority of my life. Yeah.
Yeah. Do you have any memories of living anywhere else, or is that just a part of your life you don't really remember?
Well, I was born in Pakistan, and I came to America when I was about 1, so I really don't have any memory of living anywhere else.
Yeah. Do you like living in Illinois, or sometimes you wish you lived somewhere else?
Illinois is fine because we have the perfect weather all the time. I mean, the winters aren't too cold, the summers aren't too hot. There's lots of attractions because we live fairly close to Chicago, right? And in the town I live in, there isn't a lot to do, but I have some pretty amazing and epic friends, and I go to pretty great schools, so I just enjoy this town.
That's awesome. So I know that everybody here obviously is connected by our mutual understanding and connection to bleeding disorders. So I want to go back down the line and ask everybody, how are you affected by a bleeding disorder? So are you a sibling? Do you have one? And if you do have one, which one do you have? And what age were you diagnosed? Aiden?
So I have severe hemophilia A, and my mother and my only sister are carriers for it. And I was diagnosed 3 days after birth, and my mother and sister were diagnosed. They got tested for it, I think, last year or the year before.
Hayden?
I have severe hemophilia A, and my older brother has hemophilia, and my uncle had hemophilia, and I was diagnosed at birth.
Do you like having like a community around you and your family that has hemophilia too? Does it help you not really feel alone all the time?
Yeah. Yes,
yeah, that's awesome. It's so awesome that you have a community right close to home. Tavin?
I have family with hemophilia. My uncle had hemophilia. My mother has hemophilia. My brother has hemophilia, and my little cousin has hemophilia. I have mild hemophilia B and von Willebrand's type 2M, and I was diagnosed last year.
I know we talked about before how it's a little bit weird having a bunch of family with hemophilia, but at the same time being the only girl. Does that feel super weird? Does that make you feel isolated, or do you still feel connected because you still have family?
I still feel connected, but I do feel isolated in some situations because I am a girl, and like they don't really know what to do because I am a girl, and and I do have my mom who is a girl and has it, so she really helps me, and that's how one way I feel really connected.
Yeah, that's awesome. How about you, Muhammad?
I am the brother to my brother has hemophilia B, and I'm his sibling. Um, Once again, I'm the only buddy who does. Well, I'm the only person who doesn't have hemophilia.
Have you guys been connected in the hemophilia community at all? Like, do you go to camp? Do you guys participate in like events that happen, or is it just kind of stay close to home? And
Me and oh, you go first.
Okay. Thank you. I actually go to camps, and we do go to crawfish boils, and my mom does volunteer for LHF. So we do go to lots of little get-togethers they have, and we all get together whenever we can.
that's awesome. Muhammad?
We discovered like hope pretty much last year. So we went to Louisiana last year for one of their conferences. We go to camp. Well, actually, this year was our first year going to Camp Warren Church here in Illinois. We occasionally go to symposiums, but yeah, overall we go. It's fun going to like symposiums because we learn a lot and we get to go out of state, which is a bonus, so we can travel around and see the country.
That's awesome. Yeah, events are so much fun in the hemophilia community. It's a big community, but a small community at the same time because hemophilia and bleeding disorders are very rare in comparison to a lot of other situations that people live with. So you would think that the community and things that happen are pretty small, but they're actually really good at putting on events. They're fun, very, very fun. What about you, Aiden?
So I've been volunteering with the Louisiana Hemophilia Foundation, LHF. So last year they moved to new offices, so I helped them there, and then I've also helped them run their annual get-togethers. So I've just been really just volunteering with them, trying to help as much as I can.
That's awesome. And Hayden, what about you?
I go to the crawfish boils and camp, and my mom sometimes volunteers for LHF, but my older brother does.
Have any of you guys, I know Aiden said that he's helped volunteer, but have any of you guys ever volunteered with anything, or you just prefer to attend to the events?
I prefer to attend. When my mom does go to volunteer, sometimes I ask and sometimes I will go to help run booths they have or even plan out of stage they have. But most of the time, I'm just there to attend.
Muhammad?
I'm just there to attend. Like pretty much all day, I'm at childcare, so I don't really volunteer. I may one day. You never know.
Maybe one day, yeah. I mean, they always could use the help. And, people in the hemophilia community love to hear people say they want to volunteer because that's heartwarming, especially from somebody who's already in the hemophilia community. So, are you involved in any extracurricular activities or sports? Aiden?
So I am a collegiate swimmer at Centenary College, Louisiana. So that was my big thing for college. But in high school and throughout middle school, I was a swimmer as well for my team or club. And I also was big time band kid. Like I did marching band for 6 years. I did concert bands, wind ensembles. I was in part of the jazz band for my high school career, and those are the big two things I've really done. I was part of National Honor Society for my 2 years in high school, so busy on top of schoolwork.
Yeah, that's awesome. And that's super inspiring too, because a lot of people are scared to go to college and be involved in sports who have a bleeding disorder. Because that's, when you have a bleeding disorder, that's kind of frightening to try out for something that even people with no bleeding disorders get rejected from. So that's not only is that awesome to hear about, but it's also really inspiring. Hayden, are you in any sports or extracurricular activities?
I play soccer for my school and for the local park.
Do you like soccer?
Yes, ma'am.
What's your favorite sport?
Soccer, definitely.
Soccer? Yeah. Tavin?
I actually play softball, I run track, and I run cross country. And this isn't really a sport, but I do choir also.
Wow. Get it, girl. You're doing everything. My gosh. You got it. I used to play softball when I was younger. That was definitely fun. Out of all the things that you do, all the extracurriculars and sports, which one is your favorite, if you can choose?
I would say softball most definitely. I just started running cross country and track last year, so I haven't really gotten used to them yet, but I really enjoy running, but softball is my number one sport.
Do you find that you're held back in certain situations by doing with running and cross country? Do you find that difficult with the bleeding disorder, or is it not really as difficult as you might have thought it would be?
I actually have been held back in some situations because I did do tumbling a little while ago because I thought I wanted to be a cheerleader. Not really. And I actually sprained my ankle really badly. And because of my bleeding disorders, or at least that's what we think it's because of, it's never healed properly. So when I run or when I try to do softball, sometimes I have to sit games out or sit races out because of my ankle and because of the way it acts, because I can't run on it, because sometimes it swells up, it bruises really badly, or I can't even walk on it sometimes and I have to use crutches or even go in a boot to school.
But I think the more inspiring thing about that is that even though some of those things have held you back, you haven't stopped playing sports. And not only have you not stopped playing sports, but you've done more than I have known someone to do ever. So that's definitely inspiring. I got no words, girl. I got no words.
Thank you.
Muhammad, do bleeding disorders affect you and your family and your brother with playing sports and stuff, or is that just something that you kind of live with in general?
No, we've had to, like, me and my brother, we do soccer a lot, and that's actually the only sport we do. We've had to wait a lot, and like we've waited a very long time until we thought it was like safe and appropriate for our brother to begin. This is actually his first season playing with like other kids of his age. We've waited a long time. Otherwise, in the sports world, it doesn't really affect us.
Yeah. So outside of soccer, you said both you and your brother do play soccer. Do you do any other extracurricular activities, or is it just soccer?
Yeah, I run a podcast. It's a political podcast. Its main aim is to simplify politics for kids because I've been like the only kid in my entire class who actually understands it. And so I've made that sort of the goal of my podcast. I do radio shows once every 3 weeks or something. I'm part of jazz band like Aiden. I do regular bands. Me and my friend like to make animated movies together for enrichment activities. I'm part of the Broadway on like our UMS like stage Broadway thingy, and I'm really into tech. Like I'm learning how to make my own PC. I'm saving up for that, but like I've got all the parts sorted out. It's fun.
That is incredible. That is so cool. That's awesome. Okay, so this is kind of the last question, but after this question, I kind of want to get a little bit more into discussion. Starting with Aiden, what is one lesson that you've learned from living with a bleeding disorder? And what, if you take that lesson, what would be a message that you'd want to tell everybody who's watching?
So naturally with the bleeding disorder, we've been told, hey, you can't do this, you can't do that. So it's kind of meant to be, it's not meant to be, but people take it as a limit. Like you can't do this because that's your limit for your body. My biggest thing that I learned through personal experience and through my family from what they've taught me was don't let it be a limit, let it be a boundary to kind of funnel you to what you actually like, what you can perfect. Don't be bogged down by the things, oh, I can't play this sport because it's too physical or it's too demanding on the joints. Just be like, I can't do this sport, so let me do a different sport that's less contact and less physically demanding on your body, joint-wise or whatnot, to make you rather than dividing your attention, invest as much as you can on the things you can do. So my biggest thing is just don't let the limit become a limit. Let it be a boundary to where you can invest everything you can in the stuff you can do.
What about you, Hayden?
I just never let it stop me. Like, I just never thought about it. Like, I just think as myself as other kids without bleeding disorders.
That's definitely, I feel like that's a healthier way to think of it in some instances, because, a lot of kids, they take their bleeding disorder and go, oh no, it's the end of the world. I'm never leaving the house. I'm never I'm never doing anything fun because I might fall. A lot of people take that and they walk in fear. And I think it's awesome that you guys are able to walk in more confidence and able to not let those things stop you, because that is something that a lot of people struggle with. Tavin, what about you?
The lesson I would say I have learned with bleeding disorders is probably to not let them get in your way and to not stress over the fact that you do have a bleeding disorder or have multiple bleeding disorders. Because over the years of my life, I've been told for many things that because of my joints giving out really easily, me bruising really easily, and it does occur in other kids too, we are told we can't do this because you're too delicate, you won't be able to stand it like other kids do, you can't tolerate it. I just say go for it, because if you want to be the next basketball player or football player or even professional soccer player, that's what you have to do in life, and that's what you have to make your goals to. And you can't really let the fact that you have a bleeding disorder get in your way, and you can't be scared of it, because I was scared of it for a long time, but now I just kind of go with the flow and I let whatever happens to me happen. We handle it and we just go on with it. We can't stay worried about it, because then we'll never get anywhere in life.
Yeah, that's so true. So true. What about you, Muhammad?
I think being a sibling to a person who has my brother who has a bleeding disorder, I think it's made me more aware as a person. I understand his surroundings more. I can analyze quicker, like, what are we doing? Like, will it put him at risk? Will it potentially make him have a bleed? I just understand what's happening better, and I just try to keep him out of situations where he could have bleeds more.
Yeah, that's awesome. Some people with bleeding disorders, they don't have somebody to look out for them. And they have to go by doing their day and just living their life and having to watch out for themselves. That makes it a lot easier when you don't have someone keeping you accountable. It makes it a lot easier for you to push yourself way, way, way too far. So not only now, but as you guys get older, that's going to be a huge gift and a huge advantage that both of you have in your life. And I think, how many of you guys have family with hemophilia? By show of hands. Everybody. Yeah, me too. I have hemophilia, and then my father has hemophilia. So I completely understand all the angles, all the angles in that situation. But I think it's really incredible that all of us have community that is close to us in our family, because a lot of people don't have that. I don't know about you guys, but I feel extremely privileged by that situation. So going back down the line again, does anybody have a situation or an experience that they feel is unique to their story, and maybe something that's maybe not unique to your story, but something that really stands out to you about what made you who you are today, especially in the hemophilia community or in the bleeding disorder community? Like, does anybody have a situation like that, or a story or a message that means something to them that they want to speak about?
So when it comes to the bleeding disorder community, you also have to think about not just other people who have or have been affected by bleeding disorder community. You need to also think about your healthcare provider, because they have your best intentions in mind. Like, they want to make sure you're okay and you're running at 100%. So I have a story where when I was 4 or 5, so I don't really remember it well. I just remember what my parents have told me. I slipped on the wooden steps and I hit the base of my neck, causing a spinal bleed. And I don't remember much because all I know is I remember I woke up in the ambulance and then woke up in the bed 2 days later or a day later or something like that. But my dad said my hematologist was standing there when they were rolling me in on the gurney, right? They were he was ready for me, and he told him exactly what needed to be done. So it's stuff like that that makes you feel good about yourself because you know you have people that aren't exactly family. They might be your like medical family, I guess, is a way you could say it, that are looking out for you to make sure you're okay, even if things go bad. They'll have your back. So it's just the small stuff like that is just, it's comforting to know that you have not just your family, but also medical personnel looking after you.
Yeah, I'm so glad you said that. That is so, so, so important. And I think about also like thinking about even my own experiences with my healthcare providers and my doctors and my hematologists. When I first found out that I had hemophilia, I was worried because I thought back on all the experiences of like getting dental work and things like that, where it was just a complete nightmare. And, like when you get tooth removed or you get a cavity filled, they have to give you injections in your mouth to numb it so they can do the operation. And my mouth would be swollen. My jaw would be swollen for weeks. Because with no access to Factor at the time, there was nothing I could do about that. And I didn't know what was wrong. And but when I met with my hematologist, she said, tell me as soon as you have an operation, because I will make sure that none of that happens, because I'll make sure that you have Factor and I'll make sure you have all the treatment you need and the proper operations and the proper supervision that you need for those things to happen. And it just took so much weight off my shoulders to know that I was not alone in that. And not only in your day-to-day life, but like 90% of that life is the medical aspects of it. And knowing that we have that community around us is so relieving. So relieving. What about Tabit?
I don't really necessarily have a story, but I do have a story about my little brother and about one of his hemophilia incidents. Because of his hemophilia, he does get very, very bad nosebleeds, and he started a new medicine a while ago, and he hasn't really had as many nosebleeds. He's been getting nosebleeds this past week, but we've managed to stop them and managed to take care of him. But about 2 or 3 years ago, he had this really bad nosebleed that put him in the hospital, and he lost so much blood. We had to get people to actually donate blood because they were actually terrified he was going to lose his life because of his hemophilia causing him to lose so much blood, and it affected him very badly. But we did have many medical personnel, as y'all say, that provided us Factor, and they were there by Tanner's side every single day. They held his hand. They helped him with all his medicine, and they made sure that even though he was in the hospital for a year, they made sure he got all of his schoolwork. They made sure everything about him was perfectly fine. And that makes me feel so grateful that we have people like that, and we have a community like that, when some people don't even have a brother, a sister, anybody to take care of them like we do.
That's awesome. What about you, Muhammad?
Okay, I don't have a direct story, so I'm just gonna give you what I thought of. Okay, wait. So there was this one time when we were at this park, and my brother, we were exiting this park, and I guess it was a normal situation, right? Like, it's something we've been through many times. But he tripped on his shoelace, and then his hand, like when there's a brick and there's like that curve of the brick, like that sharp part, like that corner, like right there. Yeah. He tripped and he hit his hand very hard on that brick, And then, so we had to drive him to the hospital because it's not like we can, there's no hematologist that lives in our city. The closest ones, as I said, in Chicago, an hour and a half away. And so we had to drive him all the way to Carl, and he had to get his hand glued together so it would stop bleeding. And I guess that was really the first experience that we've ever had, because we used to be very careful. But that was the first experience I ever had personally, witnessing like his hemophilia, because it wasn't, we hadn't really gone to many symposiums. I didn't have a lot of knowledge, but from there on, I just started learning more and more.
It's so great when we do have family who lives with hemophilia, and even with we have hemophilia, and when we have either the hemophilia or von Willebrand's or whatever you have, it's so awesome that we have the opportunity to keep learning about it. And it's a really unique experience when you learn more about what you have and more details about your own body and your genetics and how your body runs. Because it not only, people learn in school about anatomy and how their body runs, but your body runs completely differently in some aspects than other people's. And you have to basically rerun the map of the way that your body works. And for some people, it takes their entire life. And not only is that a unique experience, but I think in some ways it's a humbling experience, I guess. It's definitely humbling to think about. So before we kind of slow down and we wrap things up, I wanted to ask, does anybody have anything that is just on their mind or on their heart that they want to share that they've been thinking about or anything like that? Anybody?
I was very nervous this whole time. Thank you.
Don't worry. I'm sure that everyone here I was nervous. I wasn't even being interviewed and I was nervous. So it's all good. Well, thank you guys so much for having this conversation with me. I'm so glad we were able to have it, and I hope we can do it again. Yeah?
Thank you.
Well, you're so welcome. Thank you guys.
Goodbye, future self who watches this at the conference. I love you. Goodbye.
All right. Bye, everybody. Talk to you again. Bye.
Oh my gosh, that was such a great breakout session from the kids that joined us to participate in that breakout session. I want to say a huge thank you to Hannah, my daughter. I'm a little biased, have to admit, for doing that interview. I think you did a great job, and that's not easy to do. So kudos to you, big girl. You're doing great. And then also I wanted to say a big thank you to every single one of you who participated in that discussion panel, because it was a lot of fun. Man, Aiden, oh my gosh, the wisdom. I'm taking notes as he's talking here about, he says, man, don't let that limitation become a limitation. Make it be a boundary that helps you to perfect the thing that you can be great at. Oh my gosh, like awesome job, you guys. You guys are so much wisdom in that. And man, I just, Tavin had some great things to say. I'm serious taking notes on these things. This is so good. And so you guys are the future leaders of the hemophilia community and really even beyond. So I really am excited about that. And look, hey, if this is, you're just tuning in, you just got a chance to see this, we are so thankful that you joined us. We're going to be hanging out later on, and there's some more things that we're going to be doing. But man, this is the wrap up for really our weekend, family education weekend. And we just want to say thank you so much for joining us. Thanks for carving out time to be a part of this and to be a part of the Hope family. We are thrilled that you're with us. You're thrilled that you spent time to be with us. And it means so much. One day we hope to be able to get together in person again. But for now, it is such a special time to be able to connect even in moments like this. You can chat, you can email us if you have questions. Even beyond this, you can email us at info@hope-charities.org. And someone would be glad to get back with you to answer any questions you might have about speakers that you heard, or maybe products or services that were discussed, or maybe even just a diagnosis, where to find a hemophilia treatment center. Some of those things we would be happy to be able to help you navigate any of those things that we can to help you and your family be able to be more empowered and to get the things that you need. But look, if you have any questions or anything, we're here to help you 24/7. We don't just do events. We are here to be a part of your lives and to support you where we can, where you need help. So please come and let us know if there's anything you can do. Some of these videos and sessions will be made available on our YouTube channel later on. So please check back with our YouTube channel regularly to make sure you subscribe and also hit that little ring bell so that you can get those updates when we upload videos throughout the year. But a little bit later on this year, we're going to be doing our summer leadership weekend, which we'll be telling you more about soon. And then towards the end of the year, we've got another great opportunity for you to join us for our Hope Conference, which is really our biggest educational conference of the year. And we really hope that you can make plans to join us for that in the second week of November. So we're looking forward to seeing you. And thank you again for joining us for Family Education Weekend. God bless, and we hope to see you soon.